Hey, Jim here from 3J Music, and I'm back with another track for the Long Game EP or album. This song is called Starting Over. This is another old track. I believe the original drums for this were done with Easy Drummer. That would be Easy Drummer 1. This time I decided to go with MT Power Kit and find something similar. Easy Drummer 1 was really good at its time, but it's pretty limited and kind of dead sounding without doing a lot of work to it. The MT Power Kit drums are a little bit more lively, and while that program could be considered limited itself because there's not really a ton of drum beats, what is there is pretty usable. I did mention before how I had a little bit of a head start on this project before I started filming it for YouTube and making it a series. And part of that head start was recording the drums for Starting Over already. If you're unfamiliar with MT Power Kit, I brought the program up on the screen here. And it's not so different from Easy Drummer or anything else, but I do find this to be very user-friendly. And I just found some beats that were similar. And added some fills, and it's not exactly like the original, but it's pretty true to the original. So I found it pretty easy to find some beats that fit the bill here and put a track together. So now I have the drum track as I want it for the whole song, and it's time to start thinking about recording the guitar, or at least the first guitar. Yes, it's ideal to be able to record the bass first, like the song Test, but that's such a prominent bass track in that song. It's not quite as prominent in this song. So for me, the song and the situation kind of dictate what instrument gets recorded first or which orders the instruments get recorded in. And now that the drum track is complete, a first guitar track is really necessary to go off of. When it came down to deciding what guitar to use for this recording, that was very easy. This song is in E-flat tuning, and this is my E-flat guitar, my Golden Session. The rotation of guitars I usually keep are different tunings from standard to E-flat to drop D to drop C sharp. I at least try and keep one of each. So with the guitar decided on, next came the decision of what amplifier or plug-in or pedal to record through. And there was no doubt in my mind right away that the Friedman IRX is perfect for this. You need a lower gain tone And I thought that the plexi channel would be really good for that with the volume rolled all the way back. As it turns out, I liked the BE channel better for that lower gain tone with the volume rolled back on that. That just goes to show that what's in your head isn't always the right answer. So with the drum track down and the guitar decided and the sound of the guitar decided on, it's time to lay down the first guitar track. Okay, so in the first draft or first run of starting over, we end up with 3 guitars. The first guitar basically being the heartbeat of the song, playing the whole track. The second guitar basically doubling the first guitar throughout the song, but where you hear the single notes ring in the first guitar, those single notes are a little bit more muted, and the volume of the second guitar is lower as it just kind of sits underneath. Then the third guitar is just kind of there to accent and add to the actual full-on power chords and the heavier muted parts. With the volume all the way up on the third guitar to add that little bit of power that might be lacking in the first and second guitar, with the volumes being rolled back a little bit. And in the original, there's also a lead guitar and a bass that still need to be recorded here. So after a few attempts at each, we got a bass track and a lead guitar track recorded. And here's what that sounds like all together. So that's it. Starting over. I've written a lot of music over the years, both on my own and with other musicians. And that's personally one of my favorite older songs. But I understand that there's so much original music out there from unknowns that there is barely even a market for it anymore. So for me, it's about the music, but for you, it's about the process. And the idea of all of these videos is to do a little bit of a deep dive into the whole project. In this one, we kind of spent a little bit of time on what guitar amp, or in this case, preamp pedal, to use to record the guitar. And I used the Friedman IRX for all 3 guitar tracks, plus the lead guitar track. So 4, technically. All 4 of those, the settings were basically the same. For the lead guitar, I boosted a little bit with the Boss SD1. I also used the same Foundry amp model for the bass from Genome as I used in the last video. It's just a great plug-and-play option that gives you a good bass sound. And honestly, the way that I approach home recording, I never really feel like I have to do a lot in post. If you set up your guitar and bass amps with an acceptable sound, and you get the volumes right, there doesn't necessarily have to be a lot in post. Now, it's surprising that with all the recording options that are out there today, and the options that are free or next to nothing, that there are still a lot of people who have not dabbled in home recording. And I'm hoping with this series, one of the things is that I can kind of lift the veil off of that, because it doesn't have to be so complicated. So with each video, I'm hoping to pick apart a little bit of the process, and I hope that you come along. And if you're just watching this here, episode 2, and you haven't watched episode 1, go back and check that out. And if you found this useful or just enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit like and subscribe on the way out. Thanks.